Buenos días, ingeniero. Voy a dar lectura al libro del Principito. The Little Prince, Chapter 1. Once when I was 6 years old, I saw a magnificent picture in a book, called True Stories from Nature about the primeval forest. It was a picture of boa constrictor in the act of swallowing an animal. Here is a copy of the drawing. In the book, it said boa constrictors swallow their prey whole, without chewing if after that they are not able to move. And they sleep through the 6 months that they need for digestion. I pondered deeply then over the adventures of the jungle, and after some work with a colored pencil, I succeeded in making my first drawing. My drawing number 1, it looked like this. I showed my masterpiece to the grown-ups and asked them whether the drawing frightened them. But they answered frightened. We should anyone be frightened by a hat. My drawing was not a picture of a hat, it was a picture of boa constrictor, digesting an elephant. But since the grown-ups were not able to understand it, I made another drawing. I drew the inside of the boa constrictor so that the grown-ups could see it clearly. They always need to have things explained my drawing number to look like this. The grown-ups' response this time was to advise me to lay aside my drawing of boa constrictors whether from the inside or the outside, and devote myself instead to geography, history, arithmetic, and grammar. That is, at the age of six, I have up what may have been a magnificent career as a painter. It had been disheartened by the failure of my drawing my number 1, and my drawing number 2. Grown-ups never understand anything by themselves, and it is tiresome for children to be always and forever explaining things to them. So then I chose another profession and learned to pilot airplanes. I have flown a little over all parts of the world. And it is true that geography has been very useful to me. At a glance, I can distinguish China from Arizona. If one gets lost in the night, such knowledge is valuable. In the course of this life, I have had a great many encounters with a great many people who have been concerned with matters of consequence. I have lived a great deal among grown-ups. I have seen them intimately close at hand, and that hasn't much improved my opinion of them. Whenever I met of them was made to meet a clear signal, I tried the experiment of showing how my drawing number 1, which I have always kept. I will try to find out so if this was a person of true understanding, but whether it was he or she would always say, that is hard. Then you will never tell to that person about boa constrictors or primeval forests or stars. I will bring myself down to his level. I will talk to him about bridge and golf and politics and nectis, and the grown-up will be greatly pleased to have met such a sensible man. Chapter 2. So I lived my life alone without anyone that he could really talk to, until I had an accident with my plane in the desert of Sahara 6 years ago. Something was broken in my engine, and as I had with me neither a mechanic nor any passengers, I set myself to attempt the difficult repairs all alone. It was a question of life or death for me. I had scarcely enough drinking water to last a week. The first night thing I went to sleep on the sand 1,000 miles from any human habitation. It was more isolated than Sprigid sailor on a raft in the middle of the ocean. You can imagine I'm Amazon at sunrise when it was awakened by an odd little voice inside. If you please draw me a ship. What? Draw me a ship. I jumped to my feet, completely thunderstruck. I blinked my eyes hard. I looked careful all around me, and I saw a most extraordinary small person who stood there examining me great seriously. Here you may see this portrait that later I was able to make of him, but my drawing is certainly very much less charming than his model. That, however, is not my fault. The grown-ups discouraged me in painter's career when I was 6 years old, and I never learned to draw anything except boas from the outside and boas from the inside. Now I stare at this sudden apparition with my eyes fairly starting out of my head in astonishment. Remember, I had crashed in the desert 1,000 miles from any inhabitation region, and yet my little mal seemed neither to be straying uncertainly among the sands, nor to be fainting from fatigue or hunger or thirst or fear. Nothing about him had any suggestion of a chill lost in the middle of the desert, 1,000 miles from any human habitation. When at last he was able to speak, I said to him, "But what are you doing here?" And he answered, he repeated very slowly, as if he were speaking of a matter of great consequence. "If you please, draw me a ship." When a mystery is too overpowering and dare not dissolve, absurd as it may seem to me, 1,000 miles from any human habitation, and in danger of it, I took out of my pocket a sheet of paper and my fountain pen. But then I remembered how my studies had been concentrated of geography, history, arithmetic, and grammar. And I told the little chap, a little crossly too, that he did not know how to draw. He answered me, "That doesn't matter. Draw me a ship." But he had never drawn me a ship. So I drew for him one of the two pictures he had drawn so often. It was that of the boa constrictor from the outside, and he was stunned to hear the little fellow greet it with, "No, no, no. I do not want an elephant inside a boa constrictor. A boa constrictor is very dangerous creature, and an elephant is very cumbersome. Very life, everything is very small. What I need is sheep. Draw me a sheep." So then he made a drawing. He looked at it careful. Then he said, "No, this sheep is already very sickly. Make me another." So I made another drawing. My friend smiled gently and indulgently. "You say yourself," he said, "that this is not a sheep. This is a ram. It has horns." So then I did my drawing over once more, but it was rejected too, just like the others. "This one is too old. I want a sheep that we live a long time. By this time, my patience was exhausted because it was in a hurry to start taking my engine apart. So I thought of this driver, and he threw out an explanation with it. This is only his box. The ship you asked for is inside. He was very surprised to see a light break over the face of my young judge. That is exactly the way he wanted it. Do you think that this ship will have to have a great deal of grass? We, because we live, everything is very small. There will surely be no grass for him. I said, it is a very small ship that I have given you. He bent his head over the drawing. Not so small that, look, he has gone to sleep. And that is how I made the acquaintance of the little prince. Chapter 3. I took me a long time to learn where he came from. The little prince who asked me so many questions never seemed to hear the once he asked him. It was from words dropped by chance that little by little everything was revealed to me. The first time he saw my airplane, for instance, I shall not draw my airplane, that will be much too complicated for me. He asked me, what is that object? That is not an object, it flees. It is an airplane. It is my airplane. And he was proud to have him learn that he could flee. He cried out, thank. What, you drop it down from the sky? Yes, I answered modestly. Oh, that is funny. And the little prince broke into a bell peal of laughter, which irritated me very much. I like my misfortunes to be taken seriously. Then he added, so you too, coming from the sky, which is your planet? At the moment, he caught a glimpse of light in the impenetrable mystery of his presence, and he demanded abruptly, do you come from another planet? But he had no reply. He tossed his head gently, without taking his eyes from my plan. It is true that on that you can have come from very far away. And sank into a reverie which lasted a long time, then taking my ship out of his pocket. He buried himself in the contemplation of his treasure. You can imagine how my curiosity was aroused by this half confidence about the other planets. I might agree for therefore to find out more on this subject. My little man, where do you come from? What is this very life of which you speak? Where do you want to take your ship? After a reflective silence, his answered. The thing that is so good about the box you have given me is that at night he can use it as his house. That is true. And if you are good, you will give you a string to so that you can tee him during the day, and a post that he him too. But the little prince seemed shocked by this offer. To him, what a queer idea. But if you don't to him, decide he will wander off somewhere and get lost. My friend broke into another place of laughter. But where do you think he will go? Anywhere, straight ahead of him. Then the little prince said earnestly, that doesn't matter where I live, everything is so small. And with perhaps a hint of sense, he had straight ahead of him, nobody can go very far. Chapter 4. He had us learning a second fact of great importance is what the planet the little prince came from was scarcely any larger than a house. But that did not really surprise me much. I know very well that in addition to great planets, such as the Earth, Jupiter, Mars, Venus, to which we have given names, there are hundreds of others, some of which are so small that one has a hard time seeing them through the telescope. When an astronomer discovers one of the deaths, he does not give it a name, but only a number. He might call it, for example, asteroid 325. I have serious reason to believe that the planet from which the little prince came is asteroid known as B612. This asteroid is only once being seen through the telescope. That's why be as Turkish astronomer in 1999. On making his discovery, the astronomer at present into the International Astronomical Congress in great demonstration, but he was in Turkish custom, and so nobody will believe what he said grown-ups are like that. Fortunately, homework for the reputation of asteroid B612, a Turkish dictator might allow that its subjects, under pains of death, should change to European custom. So in 1920, the astronomer have his demonstration all over again, dressed with impressive style and elegance, and this time everybody accept his report. If, if he have told you these details about the asteroid and made a note of this number for you, it is a count of the grown-ups and their ways. When you tell them that you have made a new friend, they never ask you any questions about essential matters. They never say to you, what does this boy sound like? What games does he love best? Does he call it butterflies? Instead, they demand, how old, how old is he? How many brothers has he? How much does he weigh? How much money does his father make? Only from these figures do they think they have learned anything about him. If you were to say to the grown-ups, it's a beautiful house made of rosy brick with geraniums in the windows and those on the roof, they would not be able to get any idea of that house at all. You would have to say to him, it's a house that costs $20,000. Then they would exclaim, oh, what a pretty house that is. Just so Joe Mig said to him this a proof that the little prince existed is that he was charming, that they loved it, and that he was looking for a ship. If anybody wants a ship, that is proof that he exists. And what good would it do to tell them that? They will shrug their shoulders and treat you like a child. But if you say to him, the planet he came from is asteroid B612, then they will be convinced and leave you in peace from third question. They are like cat and must not hold it against them. Children should always show great forbearance toward grown-up people, but certainly for us who understand life figures are matter of indifference. I should having liked to begin this story in the fashion of the fairy tales I should. have like the same. Once upon a time, there's a little prince who lived on a planet that was scarcely any bigger than himself and who had need for of a ship. To those who understand life, that world having given a much greater air of truth to my history. For I do not want any to read my book currently. I have suffered too much grief and sitting to these memories. 6 years has already passed since my friend went away from me with his ship. If I try to describe him here, it is to make sure that I shall not forget him. To forget a friend is sad. No, everyone has had a friend, and if I forget him, I might become like grown-ups who are no longer interested in anything but figures. It is for that purpose, again, that I have bought a box of paints and some pencil. It is hard to take up drawing again at my age, when I have never made any pictures except those of the boa constrictors from the outside and the boa constrictor from the inside. Since I was 6, I shall certainly try to make my portraits as true to life as possible. But I am not at all sure of success. Drawing goes along all right, another has no resemblance to his subject and makes some errors too in the little prince. Hey, in one place he is too tall and in another too short, and he feels some doubts about the color of his costume. So I family along a best I can, no good, no bad, and I hope generally fair to middling. In certain more important details I shall make mistakes also. But that is something that will not be my fault. My friend never explained anything to me. He thought perhaps that he was like himself, but he was do not know how she she drawn the walls of boxes. Perhaps I'm a little like the grown-ups. I have had to grow old. Chapter 5. As each day passed, we will learn in Ortland something about the Little Prince planet is departed from its journey. The information will come very slowly, as it might chance to fall from its talks. It was in this way that he heard on the third day about the catastrophe of the Baobabs. This time once more he had the ship to thank for it, for the little prince asked me abruptly as if they said be a grave dog. It is true, isn't it that sheep eat little bushes? Yes, that is true. I am glad. I did not understand we was important that sheep should eat little bushes, but the little prince ate it. Then it follows that they also eat baobabs. I pointed out the little prince that baobabs were not little bushes, but on the contrary, trees as big as cutlass, and then even if he took a whole herd of elephant away with him, the herd will not eat up one single baobab. The idea of the herd of elephant made the little prince laugh. We will have to put him one on top of the other his side. But he made a wise comment. Before the ground so big, the baobabs start to be banked little. That is strictly correct side. But we do you want the sheep to eat the little baobabs. He answered me at once, "Oh, come," as if he were speaking of something that was self-evident, and he was obliged to make a great mental effort to solve this problem without any assistance. Indeed, as learned, there were on the planet where the little prince lived at on all planets, good plants and bad plants. In consequence, they're very good seed from good plants and bad seeds from bad plants. But seeds are invisible. They sleep deep in the heart of the heart's darkness until someone among them is seized with the desire to awaken. Then this little will stretch itself and begin. The middle at first to push a charming little sprig inoffensively upward toward the sun. If it is only a sprout of radish or the sprig of a rosebush, onward let it grow where it may wish. But when it was a bad plant, one must destroy it as soon as possible. The very first stand that on recognizes it. Now there were some terrible sets on the planet that was the home of the little prince, and these were the sons of the baobabs. The soil of that planet was infested with them, and baobab is something you will never be able to get rid of its job, and to it to light. It is spreads over the entire planet. It pours clear through it with its roots, and if the planet is too small and the baobabs are too many, they split it in pieces. It is a question of discipline. The little prince said to me later, when you finishes your own toilet in the morning, then it's time to enter to the toilet of your planet. Just so with the greasing care, you must see that you pull up regular of the all the baobabs. At the very first moment, which they can be distinguished from the rubbishes which they resemble so closed in their early youth, it is very tedious work. The little prince added, but very easy. And on the day he said to me, "You ought to make a beautiful drawing so that the children where you live can see exactly how all this is. That will be very useful to them if they were to travel someday. Some things he had it. There is no harm in putting of a piece of a work until another day. But when it is a matter of a waps, that always means a catastrophe. I need a planet that was inhabited by a lazy man who neglected three little bushes." So as the little prince described it to me, he have made a drawing of that planet. It is not much like to take the tongue of a moralist, but the danger of the baobabs is so little understood, and such considerable risk will be run and John Wormy his get lost on an asteroid that for once I am breaking through my reserve. Children is I plainly the one for the baobabs. My friends like myself have been skirting this danger for a long time without ever knowing it, and so it is for them that I have worked so hard over this drawing. The lesson which I pass a bit this man's is worth the trouble it has cost me. Perhaps you will ask me, we are there no other drawing in this book as magnificent and impressive as this drawing of the baobabs. The reply is simple. I have tried, but we, the others, have not been successful. When I made the drawing of the baobabs, it was carried beyond myself by the experience for urgent necessity. Chapter 6. Oh, the little prince, bit, bit. I come to understand the secrets of your sight light live for a long time. You had found your only entertainment in the quiet pleasure of looking at the sunset. I learned that new detail on the morning of the fourth day when you said to me, I am very fond of sunsets. Come, let us go look at the sunset now, but we must wait inside. Wait for what? For the sunset, we must wait until it is time. At first, you seem to be very much surprised, and then you laughed to yourself. You said to me, I am always thinking that I am at home. Just so everybody knows that when it is noon in the United States, the sun is setting over French. If you could flee to French in 1 minute, you could go straight into the sunset. Right from noon, you fortunately, France is too far away for that. But on your tame planet, my little prince, all you need to his move, your chair a face steep, you can see the day and the twilight falling whenever you like. One day, you said to me, I saw the sunset 44 times. And a little later, you added, you know, one loves the sunset when one is so sad. Were you so sad then? I asked. On the day of the 44 sunsets, but the little prince made no reply. Chapter 7. On the fifth day, again, as always, it was thanks to the sheep, the secret of the little prince. Life was revealed to me abruptly without anything to lead up to it, and of it the question of being bored of long and silent mediation on each problem he demanded. A sheep, if it eats little bushes, does it eat flowers too? A sheep, he answered, eats anything it finds in its reach. Even flowers that have thorns, yes, even flowers that have thorns. Then the thorns, what use are they? I did not know. At that moment, it was very bus trying to unscrew a ball that got stuck in my engine. It was very much worried, for it was becoming clear to the mat the breakdown of my plan was extremely serious, and he had slight drinking water left that he had to fear for the worst. The terms were what use are they? The little prince never let go of a question once he had asked it asked for me. He was upset over that ball, and he answered with the first thing that came into my head. The thorns are of no use at all. Flowers have thorns whose for spite. Oh, there was a moment of complete silence. Then the little prince flashed back at me with a kind of resentfulness. I don't believe you. Flowers are weak creatures. They reassure themselves as best they can. They believe that their stones are terrible weapons. I died no answer. At that instant, I was saying to myself, if this ball says still won't turn, I am going to know I owe with the hammer. Again, the little prince disturbed my trance. And you actually believe that the flowers? Oh no, I couldn't. No, no, no. I don't believe anything. I answered you with the first thing that came into my head. Don't you see, I am very busy with matters of consequence. He stared at me, thunderstruck. Matters of consequence. He looked at me there with my hammer in my hand, my fingers black with engine grease, beating though over an object which is made to him extremely ugly. You talk just like the grown-ups that made me a little ashamed, but he went on relentlessly. You mix everything together, you confuse everything. He was really very angry. He tossed his golden curse in the breeze. In no planet where there is certain restraint glenda. He has never smelled a flower. He has never looked at a star. He has never loved any. He has never done anything in his life but add you figures and lie his size over and over, just like you. I'm busy with matters of consequence, and that makes him swell up with pride, but he's not a man, he is a mushroom. A what? A mushroom. The little prince was now with rage. The flowers have been growing thorns for millions of years. For millions of years, the sheep have been eating them just the same, and is it no a matter of consequence to try to understand why the flowers go to so much trouble to grow thorns which are never of any use to them is the welfare between the sheep and the flowers not important? Is this not of more consequence than a fat red-faced gentleman's sons? And if no, I myself, a flower which is unique in the world, which grows not here but on my planet, but it which one little sheep can destroy in a single bit some morning without even noticing what he is doing. Oh, you think that is not important? His fast turning from white to red as he continued. If some unlove a flower of a which just a single blossom grow in all the millions and millions of stars, it is not to make him happy just to look at the stars. He came to himself, somewhere my flower is there. But if the sheep eats the flower in one moment, all stars will be darkened, and you think that is not important. He could not say anything more. His words were choked by sobbing. The night had fallen. I had let my tools drop from my hands. Of what moment no was my hammer, my ball, or this or that. On one stars, one planet, my planet Earth, there was a little prince to be comforted. I took him in my arms and rocked him. I said to him, the flower that you love is not in danger. I will drive you smooth for you sheep. I will drive you are willing to put around your flower. I did not know what to say to him. I felt angry and blundering. Chapter 8. His son learning to know the flower better. On the Little Prince, the planet, the flowers had always been very simple. They had only one ring of petals they took in the room, and they were trouble to nobody. One morning they would appear in the grass, and the night the world have faded peaceful away, but one day from seed blown from no one knew where. A new flower had come up, and the little prince had watched very closely over the small sprout, which was not like any other small sprouts on his planet. Might you see, he be a new king of Bawab. The shrub, some stupid growing and began to hit reproduce a flower. The little prince, who was present at the first appearance of a youth, but felt at once that some sort of miraculous apparition must emerge from it. But the flower was not satisfied to complete the preparations for her beauty in the shelter of her green chamber. She chose her colors with the grass care. She assumes her petals on B1. She did not wish to go out into the world and rumpled like the fleet of puppies. It was only in the full radiance of her beauty that she wished to appear. Oh yes, she was a coquettish creature, and her mysterious adornment lasted for days and days. Then one morning, exactly at sunrise, she suddenly showed, showed herself. And after working with all this painstaking precision, she yawned and said, I am scarcely a week I beg that you will excuse me. My petals are still I discerned. But the little prince could not restrain his admiration. Oh, how beautiful you are! Am I not? The flower responded sweetly, and it was born at the same moment as the sun. The little prince could guess easily now that she was not any modest but how moving and exciting she was. I think it's time for breakfast, she added an instant later. If you would have the kindness to think of my needs. And the little prince, completely passionate, went to look for a sprinkling can of fresh water so he tended the flower. So too she began very quickly to torment him with her vanity, which was, if the broad now a little difficult to deal with. One day, for instance, when she was speaking of her four tongues, she said to the little prince, let the tigers come with their claws. There are tigers on my planet, the little prince object, and anyway, tigers do not eat weeds. I'm not a weed, the flower replied sweetly. Please excuse me. I am not afraid of tigers. Tigers, she went on, but they have oral of draft. Suppose you will have a screen from me, an horror of draft that is. But look for a plant, remarked the little prince, and added to himself, this flower is a very complex creature. And I want you to put me under glass globe. It is very cold where you live, in the place it came from. But she interrupted herself. At that point, she had come in the form of a seed. She could not have known anything of any other words embarrassed over having less herself, because on the back of such an air she conquered two or three times in order to point the little prince in the world. To scream, it was just going to look for it when you spoke to me. Then she forced her comes a little more so that he should suffer from remorse just the same. So the little prince, in spite of all the good will that was inseparably from his loved stepson, come the bow here. He had taken seriously words which were without importance, and it made him very unhappy. He ought not to have listening to her, he confided to me one day. One never ought to listen to the flowers on a should simply look at them and breathe their fragrance. My perfumed all my planet, but I did not know how to take pleasure in her grace. The style of claws which disturbed me so much should only have filled my heart with tenderness and pity, and it continued his confidence. The fact is that I did not know how to understand anything I ought to have judged by deeds and not by words. She cast her fragrance and her radiance over me. I ought never to have run away from her. I ought to have guessed at the affection that lay behind her, for like strange flowers are so inconsistent, but it was too young to know how to love her. Chapter 9. He believed that for his escape, he took advantage of the migration of a flock of wild birds on the morning of his departure. He put his planet in perfect order. He carefully cleaned out his active volcans. He possessed two active volcans, and they were very convenient for heating his breakfast. In the morning, he also had a volcano that was extinct, but as he said, one never knows, so he cleaned out the extinct volcano too. If they are well cleaned out, volcanoes burn slowly and steadily without any eruptions. Volcanic eruptions are like fires in a chimney. Out here, we are obviously much too small to clean out our volcans. That is, we they bring no end of trouble upon the little prince also pulled up with an uncertain sense of dejection the last light shots of the baobabs. He believed that the world never want to return, but on this last morning, and this familiar dusk seemed very precious to him, and when they watered the flower for the last time and prepared to place her under the shelter of her glass glove, he realized that he was very close to tears. Goodbye, he sighed to the flower, but she made no answer. Goodbye, he sang again. The flower goes, but it was not because she's had a cold. I have been sad, she sighed to him at last. He asked your forgiveness, try to be happy. He was surprised by his absence of reproaches. stood there and bewildered. The glass globe he'll arrest in my ear. He died to understand this kid is witness. Of, of course, I love you. The flower said to him, it is my fault that you have not known in it all the while. That is of no importance, but you have been just as foolish as trying to be happy. Let the glass globe be. I don't want it anymore. But the wind. My cold is not so bad as that the gold night and will do me good and flower, but the animals will smooth under the presence of the two or three caterpillars if is wish to become acquainted with the butterflies. It seems that they are very beautiful, and if not the butterflies and the caterpillars who will call upon me, you will be far away. As for the large animals, I am not afraid of any of them. I have my claws, and she showed here for thorns. Then she ate. Don't linger like this. You have decided to go a guy. No good, for she did not want him to see her clean. She was such a proud flower.